You know, you guys, when discussing the Kansas City Chiefs, it can almost always go without being said that there will be a number of different points of interest to talk about them, as they've been one of the more entertaining teams in the NFL over the last couple of years. And I think it's pretty safe to say the topic that took over the headlines this offseason was how were the Chiefs going to be able to operate without their star wide receiver in Tyreek Hill. Because after receiving a massive haul to send the 6-time Pro Bowler out to Miami, where shortly after he signed one of the largest contracts for a wide receiver in NFL history, the Chiefs just didn't respond by trying to replace the duties of Tyreek Hill, which, if we're being honest, he is a one-of-one receiver in the league and would be virtually impossible to do, but instead pulled off relatively a complete revamp of their wide receiver room by replacing guys like Byron Pringle and Demarcus Robinson with JuJu Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And while it's obvious that these two will add their own unique talents to the weaponry of the Kansas City Chiefs, believe it or not, there is still so much more hidden beneath the surface of this new look offense that honestly nobody is talking about as much as they should be. One sec though, guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NFL video. Love you guys. We're coming out with brand new NFL content every single week around here, you guys, so trust me, you do not want to miss out. But anyway, to get back on topic with the Kansas City Chiefs, while it should be clear with the numbers they've put up in the past, along with each of their given skill sets, that MVS along with JuJu should fit almost perfectly into this Chiefs offense, it seems that when people discuss KC, it is really only these two, along with guys like Mecole Hardman and Travis Kelce, are really the only four being considered a viable threat target for Patrick Mahomes. And while you also always cannot sleep on the running back depth of this team, with guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, rookie Isaiah Pacheco, and now even Ronald Jones at the 4th slot, people just don't seem to be giving relatively any credit, or at least as much as they should be, to the skill set of the guys below what will likely be Patrick Mahomes' top 4 targets. And to start with who needs to be discussed more, we have someone who probably made the biggest splash in terms of recognition out of this second unit, as he was selected in the second round of this year's draft, and that is none other than Skyy Moore. And of course, as the Tyreek Hill trade happened a little bit over a month before the NFL draft, the immediate response to this by almost every NFL fan was, oh my god, the Chiefs just drafted Tyreek Hill's replacement. And don't get me wrong, because I'm sure after some people initially watched some of his highlights out of college at Western Michigan, you could maybe see some flashes of what Tyreek was doing, but again, as we mentioned previously, it's a pretty lofty asking price to expect anyone to replicate what Tyreek Hill does. But to stop comparing him to Tyreek, you can clearly see through the numbers he put up his junior year at Western Michigan. While it's clear he wasn't playing in one of the top collegiate conferences like the Big Ten or the SEC, these numbers are still very impressive to say the very least. And again, through some of the highlights being shown, I think it's pretty clear that his speed and breakaway ability is easily going to be able to translate to the NFL level. And I say this for many different reasons. One being the fact that he is still just 21 years old. The second being he is going to be developed in one of the best offenses the game has seen in the last couple of years. And lastly, with the opportunities that he's going to end up getting, he will likely be matched up with opposing teams' weaker secondary options, which in return will give him that much more of an ability to be consistently targeted in this offense. And while unfortunately we didn't get to see much out of Skyy Moore in this year's preseason, and a lot of this will just be waiting to see what he can actually do in the regular season, there is still somebody else within this Chiefs offense that we have seen reps from at the pro level that we haven't even mentioned yet in this video, that honestly could have the potential to turn into one of the Chiefs' biggest red zone threats, not just this year, but for the foreseeable future. And would you believe me if I told you that it was the Chiefs' 3rd string tight end? Because it is, and his name is Jody Fortson. Now hear me out, because if you've never heard of or seen this guy actually play before, what I'm saying might sound like just a bit of a stretch, as in his one season with the Kansas City Chiefs last year, as an undrafted free agent, he had just 5 receptions for 47 yards and 2 touchdowns, before unfortunately tearing his Achilles sideline re-signing him for the remainder of the year. But for some people who might have laughed at my statement saying he could be one of Mahomes' newest red zone threats with only having these numbers to show for it last season, I'll just say that in hindsight, these numbers are pretty solid through the first 5 games of your NFL career, again as a third string tight end, and while standing at a 6'6", 230-pound frame and clearly showing that you can catch the football not just last season but in this year's preseason as well. I can just see it now with his impressive speed at the position as well that Fortson is going to be a nightmare that teams forget about when he comes in as a backup option. And don't get me wrong with saying that, because even as the third string tight end on the depth chart currently, he is still going to get a number of opportunities this season, at least that's what it seems like. And I know that it's just preseason, but if you needed any further reference to see if Jody Fortson would be able to do what he showed flashes of last year, I think it was shown through some of his numerous flashy grabs over the last few weeks that Jody Fortson will definitely be there when the opportunity is given. And then even aside from Skyy Moore and Jody Fortson, we have other names that haven't even been mentioned yet in guys like Justin Watson or even tight end Noah Gray, who also, again, even though their names have relatively been swept under the rug, have definitely showed some promise to hopefully step up for this Chiefs team this year. But once again, with all things considered regarding the situations with both Skyy Moore and Jody Fortson, am I saying that either one of them are going to have a quote-unquote breakout year and immediately step up into one of the top targets of Patrick Mahomes? It would definitely be incredible to see, but it is not expected to happen. But I am saying with their situation that it gives them more time to learn and grow within this offense than most other players in their same situation across the league, and will also absolutely serve as a punch to the gut for some other teams when they're least expecting it with everything they have to worry about. But regarding the relatively new look of this KC offense, I am also extremely curious to hear what you all have to think. So please let me know in the comments what your initial thoughts were on the JuJu and MVS acquisitions, as these were unexpected but were massive moves for this team. And also, do you think Skyy Moore and Jody Fortson will have somewhat of an impact this year while also possibly being the future of this KC offense? But again, you guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. As I mentioned previously, with the season just days away at this point, we're going to continue to come out with brand new NFL content every single week as the year goes on. So again, you don't want to miss it. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.